Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. And I'm a little loud. Let me turn that down. Woo, a little loud, little loud, little loud. There we go. There we go. All right. Sometimes when I click unmute on my audio mixer, it likes to shoot it up a little too fast, and then it goes louder than it needs to be. So then sometimes you just gotta lower it down a little bit. But with that, it is Wednesday, the 5th of February, 2025. Tonight was AEW Dynamite. But, man, this show it was just a show. I wouldn't say the show sucked, but I was bored. I was bored through most of this show. Like, not much of this show intrigued me. I'm just, like, watching it, and I'm just like, oh. Starting it off with another brawl for Moxley and his guys. Or, as Brian Alvarez's friend Mark says, John Moxley and the Goofball Bunch. If you didn't hear that, if you didn't hear Brian Alvarez's friend Mark talking about watching AEW, oh my God, you missed out. Basically, he said that the show sucks. It's John Moxley and his Goofball Bunch. And then Brian said something about, well, Will Osprey has good matches. He goes, Will Osprey match is just a bing, 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 bing. I'm like, wow. Wow. So, yeah, that was a thing over the weekend. Freaking Brian Alvarez's friend Mark. But, yeah, no, the show to me was a little boring. Nothing's really got me, like, intrigued. Like, I'm kind of into Big Bill and Hobbs. I think it could be a really good match. I think it could be really fun. But then they're doing this this fight, or whatever you want to call it, and they leave the graphic on for the New York Minute thing. And I'm like, can we get the graphic off the frickin' screen? Like, it's not covering any of what we're trying to watch, but it's just annoying that it's there. Like, things are happening. I get why it's there with the Jericho segment and the talking and and they're just standing there. Sure, why not? Whatever. But when they're out there fighting and they're like beating security guards down, I don't want this thing on the screen. No. So, yeah. And then the other thing, Harley Cameron, one of the most talented people in all professional wrestling. I will say that right now. But she's not at the level of getting a title shot. And then she's got a Mariah May puppet. Granted, she's a very talented ventriloquist, but she's got a Mercedes Monet puppet. What? Now, I did like Tony Storm dressed as Mariah May because it plays into previous story beats of Mariah May dressing up as Tony Storm. So I did like that. I thought that was clever. I thought that was good. And the world lost their minds because Tony Storm's butt looked bigger than ever. Like, Twitter went crazy. All them goddamn teenagers on there. Maybe not just teenagers, but yeah. So overall, I thought it was an okay show. Nothing special. Like, there was literally nothing on this show where I would say, yeah, I have to go back and watch this. Or, oh my God, this really set up this cool match for the pay-per-view, whatever it's called, the TV special, the Collision a week from Saturday. Like, we did get, what was it? Buddy Matthews is going to challenge for the Continental title. But that was just like a quick video backstage, and that may have just been like a, hey, if you missed this before, we're showing it again thing. So, yeah, not the best episode of Dynamite, I will say. Not the best episode of Dynamite. So, yeah. With that, I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Donating Twitch bits are the best way to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air if you're watching on Twitch. Also, remember, you can subscribe to the channel one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, if you're watching over on YouTube, you can help us out over there. You can help us out by hitting that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know we go live, and that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. At the $1 tier, you get emotes and emojis that you can use in the live chat and in the comments. You also get our graphics tutorial videos. And then if you're at the $5 or higher tier, you get into our monthly Q&As, our monthly retro watch-alongs, and you get all of my graphics files, all the Photoshop files, all the After Effects files, and all the assets for that as well. So you don't just have to try to watch the tutorial and replicate it. You got them there. All we ask is you give credit to where you got the graphics from. And then remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read aloud on YouTube, you can do so by donating a super chat or super sticker in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into that OG Season 1, Chapter 2. You need that new Battle Pass. PWU NLIMITED to get them V-Bucks to get that Battle Pass. Brandon's got a good question here. Why don't you do NXT live streams? Because I actually lose money doing those because we get so little viewers. I'm about to cut out these Dynamite streams too if the viewers don't go up because they're actually costing money. Like, for what I was making on reviewing NXT, it's not worth it when I can just be working on other things or doing other things. So as far as like what those videos generate, views and monetarily, weren't enough to justify, hey, I'm going to sit here and watch a 2-hour show, then do another hour to hour and a half of review of it. So it wasn't justifying me spending 5 hours on NXT. So yeah. And that's why we don't do Collision. Collision's the same way. And that was actually less viewers than if I were when I was reviewing NXT. And Dynamite's kind of going down viewer-wise as well. So I don't want to cut out doing Dynamite. But if it's going to start basically technically losing me money, when instead I could just be doing regular news videos, just saying. That's why. That's why we don't do NXT. That's why we don't do Collision. Because they're not making, they just weren't making money. Like, they were making money, but not enough to justify spending 5 hours a night, you know. So we'll see how it all goes. But as far as Dynamite does go, not Collision, as far as Dynamite does go tonight, show was in Atlanta, Georgia. And we come on the air. Swerve Strickland and Ricochet are seen arriving at the building. They got the main event. Timeless Toni Storm is coming out to be with, or not coming out, yeah, but she's there. She's going to fight Queen Aminata. We'll get on that one in a little while. Tell you what, Queen Aminata lost. I hate wrestlers that they do a move and then they're like, I got to get my shit in. I got to get my pose. Oh, that's what Queen Aminata did twice. If not, no, I think it was 3 times. Once she did like a dive to the outside and then and then another one, she killed Toni Storm with a knee through the ropes, sat on the apron and was like, and then what? Tony kicks out. Why? Because you took too long. You got to do your damn pose, dummy. Give me 1 second. Turn this fan on. That's one of the things where I'm like, if it's not a spot where you're going to immediately go for the pin, like when she did it on the outside, I'm like, oh, that the facial looked like she just looked kind of dumb because the face she made. But when she did it on the apron and then went for the pin, that's when I don't like it. Like the first one, I'm like, okay, she looked dumb, but it's whatever. But then when you're doing it right before a pin, it doesn't look dumb. It makes you, as a wrestler, come off dumb. Because when you hit someone with the big move, you immediately go for the pin. Don't pander. Don't pose. So, that's just my opinion. So, we start this thing outside, and Renee Paquette is with Switchblade in like the loading area. And he is asked about his recent friendships with Cope. White said that it's a relationship being built in real time. And there's, well, no history between the two. But there is between himself and FTR. And I'm sitting here going, when? Like a friendship relationship? Or a fighting relationship? I don't even remember. Anyways, White has to rely on some he might not have expected in regards to the Death Riders. And right on cue, here comes John Moxley and the Goofball Bunch. Moxley comes up. His crew approaches White, and they think they got him cornered. They think they got him outnumbered. He's counting. He's looking, oh, we got 6-on-1. No, it's not 6-on-1. And then he's like, let's go. And they all start brawling. There's FTR and Cope behind. So it's just one big brawl. The one thing that popped me is they're all brawling. All these guys are brawling, right? It's 4-on-3. If I counted correctly. It's Pac was there, right? I don't even remember if I saw Pac. It may have been 3-on-3. Anyways, the funniest part of all of this is they're all brawling, and Renee goes, oh, dang. And so Marina runs over, grabs Renee Paquette, puts her on her shoulder, and takes her away from the carnage so she don't get hurt. I popped for that one. That did get me. I'm like, oh, Marina, she's taking care of Renee, making sure she's safe. You know, she works for John. John's like, hey, take care of the wife. Watch over the wife. Wife can't get hurt. So they're all fighting and brawling, and then they get to ringside, and they're still fighting and brawling some more. Yuta looked to, Pac was out there now that I think about it. Yuta looked to cut White off, and he eats a Blade Runner for his troubles. Castagnoli then puts Harwood out, throws him outside of the ring. Is a giant swing to the barricade. Wheeler tried to dive, but they had an uppercut. Moxley and Castagnoli put the boots to White as Cope wanted to take out the AEW World Champion with a spear, but Castagnoli shoved Moxley aside and took the bullet for him. Cope, FTR, and White stared the Death Riders down as they tried to retreat through the crowd when Cope grabs a mic. He goes, Moxley, Mox, you haven't answered my question from Collision. My challenge, you, me, world title, Revolution. And Moxley's like fuming in the crowd, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, he's coming back, he's coming back. And he starts to come back towards the barricade, grabs a microphone and says, Cope deserves nothing. So his answer is no. White then grabs a mic and goes, hey, I got another offer for you. How about he breathes with a switchblade, choking in a pool of his own blood? White issues a challenge. All of them versus all of us. Brisbane Brawl. It would be at Grand Slam, White, Cope, Moxley, Castagnoli. And I'm like, why don't you add Wheeler and Pac, make it 8-man instead of just a 2-on-2? As you know, Wheeler's going to get involved anyways. Pac's going to get involved anyways. Well, what's the point of not just adding them and making it 8-man? I don't know. It's bam street fight. Why do we need a street fight on every goddamn show? Why does everything got to be a street fight in AEW? So you can bleed? I'm like, okay. It kind of looked like Moxley agrees because he was kind of looking intrigued. And they said, I'll see you in Australia. But he never said, yes, I want to do the match. I accept. So I don't fucking know. Because they don't like to tell us anything. I'm going to read you guys something really fast. I got a message today from somebody on Instagram that's going to Grand Slam. And this is how bad the promotion for Grand Slam is. This is how bad the promotion for Grand Slam is. I'm not going to pull the message actually up because I don't want to put her on blast or any of that. But I get this message on Instagram, and it says, hello, I am attending AEW Grand Slam. For the life of me, I can't actually figure out who is coming now. Is there anywhere I can find match cards? Is even the wrestlers or even a wrestler's list? On the site, it shows Tony Storm, etc. But on Ticket site, it shows that John Moxley is coming as well. Is this true? So I send her the scheduled page, the scheduled event page on AEW's website. I say, hey, here's the page for the event on their website. They don't actually ever announce X wrestler, X wrestler, X wrestler. It's when a match gets announced, then they put up, hey, this person will be there. So really all you got to do is follow the show and follow the website. And let's see what they got added so far. 3 matches. They don't even have the Moxley tag. But yeah, so it's like people going to this show are paying money, not even knowing what they're getting. For the most part. Like they know of 3 matches. But it's literally just a collision. It's going to do a what's the word I'm looking for? Potentially surprisingly decent to good number because of its lead-in. Yet, West Coast or East Coast people, I don't know how long they're going to stick around. The show's coming on at 11:30 at night, 10:30 at night. however late it is, whenever the NBA stuff ends. It's like we think it's going to come on at 10:30, maybe 11, but it could be later if the NBA stuff runs long. So, yeah. And then it's going to be running, excuse me, on a 20-something hour delay, almost 24-hour delay. So it's like, yeah, I get it. AEW does pre-tape shows all the time, but for what this show's supposed to be, big time show. Everyone's going to know the results anyways. It's like, why watch? Why watch? That late at night, especially. I'll probably not even watch till the next morning. So, we'll see. Nothing's really got a hair up my ass to watch this show. I'll just say that for sure. As we move forward, footage from Buddy Matthews challenging Okada for the Continental Championship. Okada laughed off his challenge initially, but Matthews called him a bitch. And that's what it took. That's what it took to get the match. Call him a bitch, calls you a bitch back, and says it's on. So, yeah. Continental title. Because Buddy Matthews has won a bunch of singles matches to earn it. Let's look at his cage match really fast. When was the last time? I don't even remember him doing a singles match since that freaking Adam Cole match. That was the last singles match I remember seeing him in. I could be wrong. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he fought Osprey and lost. Okay, so he won that 4-way at Full Gear. I remember that. It was a pre-show match. He won that. That was all the way back at Full Gear. He's cooled off since then. He's lost to Osprey since then. But I don't know. The last match I remember actually seeing, and it was a Dynamite match, the Osprey match. I vaguely remember it from 4 weeks ago. But I do remember him losing to Adam Cole. I remember that one. So, yeah, it's like, what has this guy done to earn a shot at the title? Nothing. He won a match back in November, a fatal 4-way on a pre-show against Dante Martin, Commander, and the Beast Mortos. No one of significance on this roster. Granted, you could say, well, Commander's a champion in Ring of Honor. Yeah, okay. But it's like, why Buddy Matthews? Oh, because all the Australians have to be in title matches, a la Harley, Cameron, Mercedes, Monet. That's why. Because all the dang Australians have to get title matches whether they deserve it or not. Like Harley, she's only ever won one match in AEW on television. That was last week on Collision against Taya. So, beats me. So then we had another fucking dumb thing that I don't think anybody cared about. Will Osprey versus a member of Don Callis' family, but we don't know who it is, and it's not the normal people because there's more in this family than we know about. Will Ospreay's in the ring. Don comes out to a ton of boos, makes the announcement. Will, I have somebody here, my family. You don't just know, you've traveled the roads with. You've spent time together like family. It is none other than Mark Davis, the Osprey killer. And so Mark Davis comes out, and I go, to quote Mr. Tony Schiavone, I don't put butts in seats. Who the fuck cares about Mark Davis joining the Don Callis family and fighting Osprey here tonight? When he came back from injury, his whole thing was, Kyle, why are you with this guy? You can't be like this. This ain't right. Da-da-da-da-da. You know? So then we got this bullshit. Now he's just with them? Yeah, this is pretty shitty. Crowd's over here chanting, you sold out. Callis said that he signed Aussie Open 2 years ago, but gave Fletcher the power of attorney while Davis was in the hospital. So Callis now owns Davis. So he's basically trying to say, he's got to do what I say no matter what. I hate these fucking gimmicks. We had the thing with Matt Hardy when he was like, I own Ethan Page, and Ethan Page got to do what I say. I've always hated those gimmicks where it's like, I own your contract. No, you fucking don't. Tony Khan owns all your all's contract. So basically, we're supposed to think that Davis is doing this against his will, under duress, as they said on commentary. And I'm just like, yeah, that's beyond dumb. Just stupid as shit. So, yeah. Why wasn't this mentioned at all in the last 2 years then? Why wasn't this mentioned at all when he's coming back fighting your guys? Instead of fighting your guys, shouldn't you have been like, I own you. You can't do that. No, he didn't. Someone got a wild hair up their ass and said, hey, let's add Davis to this, and then we could bring Aussie Open back together, and then let's just say that I own him. No. Dum-de-dum-dum-dum. Osprey tried a quick start, but the size and power of Davis led to a charging slide forearm in the corner, and he followed it up with chops in bunches and bunches, leading to a sit-out senton. There's a palm strike in the corner, but Davis, who looked for a superplex, didn't really get it because Osprey took him out with a knee, following with a pip-pip cheerio. As Davis regrouped on the outside, Callis was barking orders. Osprey controlled during the break, but Davis responded with things when he returned with a German suplex and a curb stomp. At one point, Osprey signaled for a hidden blade, but Davis fired off a lariat. Osprey no-sold initially, but then was trucked down with another lariat and a massive pile driver for a 2. Davis then ripped off the middle turnbuckle, tried to drive Osprey into it, but referee Rick Knox noticed and stepped in between them. The distraction, though, allowed Osprey to hit a charging hidden blade and pin Mark Davis to pick up the victory. Match was just okay. When you have a Will Osprey match that's just okay, yeah, I don't think I got to say any more about that. Osprey takes the mic. So it looks like a party here in Atlanta. Since Callis is a party pooper, he has a new best friend backstage who he's teaming up with a Grand Slam, and out comes Kenny Omega. Callis scurries away as Omega makes his way down to the ring, walking by down to Mark Davis in the process. Osprey said, man to man, Mark Davis, he has no clue what Don Callis has over him, and it may be scary. The help is there, and there are people he can trust. Omega said that he'll wrestle in 10 days with Osprey, but got the itch to come out and say hello to the fans here in Atlanta. Got Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshi to come out and look to charge for the ring from the backstage area, but Callis holds them back. Omega said, they can do this right now if they really want to. Let's go. But if not, hop on a jet, start training for Australia, and get ready. He said it's been a long time since people could feel what Omega felt in 2019 to 2023. But now he's back, and everyone can feel that feeling again. He said the match next week will show the future is with Osprey and Omega. He hits his goodbye and good night. Pyro goes off when he does the mwah, and there we go. I don't think Omega was even expecting the pyro. Because the pyro goes off, he goes, kind of jumped for a second. It caught him off guard. So we had a recap video, the history of Swerve, Strickland, and Ricochet rivalry, leading to their main event showdown later on tonight. Video package wasn't bad. I liked the video package. I thought it served a great purpose. Hurt Syndicate's in the ring. They basically, it's funny. So they're in the ring and MVP goes, all right, I got to make this quick. So we got to get on a jet and get to New Orleans for the Super Bowl this weekend. I'm like 4 days away. You'd rather be in New Orleans already than here at work? Okay, gotcha. That's how much AEW means to you. Okay, you're just obligated to show your face and then you dip out. MVP said this is an official announcement from the Hurt Syndicate and asked the crowd to stand for the standard of excellence, Shelton Benjamin and the almighty Bobby Lashley, the new AEW World Tag Team Champions. MVP said, keep it short. Got places to be, things to do. Puts over private party. We're talented people, but we're in the wrong place at the wrong time. MVP put the locker room on notice and said, if you're an athlete or a champion and they choose, they're going to hurt you. And the crowd are chanting, we hurt people. We hurt people. We hurt people. He said, now they're open for business. Want an opportunity? Come out and we'll accept it. Lights go down. And then we hear the music of the Guns. Austin and Colton, well, they're back. They teased us last week. They're back now. Lashley and Benjamin didn't even react. They just stood there like, oh, these guys? Okay. Austin said, I mean, no disrespect coming out here right now, but they're also businessmen, and they want to talk business. MVP goes, businessmen? Dressed like that? No disrespect, but Let's do this as men. So let's get in the ring. Austin and Colton get in. They introduce themselves and they say, one more time, hold on, we'll guns up to the Gold Club in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay. Anyways, Colton congrats them on hurting people. And then goes, but isn't that our jobs? To hurt people to win matches? So what's so special about it? It's what we're supposed to be doing, isn't it? And I'm like, I love that line. I'm like, wow. You literally just like dunked on them big time. Their whole thing is we hurt people. Well, doesn't everybody try to hurt the other person to win a match? Just saying. If you're not trying to hurt your opponent, you're probably losing. MVP appreciates the courage and respect that their father has, which is the only reason they even have what they have. And he hasn't choked them out. Next week, you get your title match. It'll be the Hurt Syndicate versus, a couple of ass boys. MVP and the Hurt Syndicate go to leave. Austin said, they're damn right. He said, you're damn right we are. And hit the guns up. Yeah. They got a good reaction. I will say that. They did get a pretty good reaction from the live crowd. We haven't seen them in a while, so it's cool to see them back. They really grew on me when they were in the Bang Bang Gang. I will say that. Because at first I was like, oh, they're Billy's Nepo babies. Okay, cool. Because like before AEW started and before Billy was in AEW, we didn't hear of him having kids that wanted to be wrestlers. And then all of a sudden they just pop up here as wrestlers. So I'm just like, kind of weird or whatever. But at first it's like, oh, they're just trying to be like a new age Outlaws ripoff. But then once they did their own thing kind of with learning from Juice and Jay and stuff, I'm like, okay, they're really coming into their own. And yeah, they're still kind of like goofs like their dad was, but at least they're their own kinds of goofs a little bit. I'm still not a big fan of the Guns Up because it's just a copy of the Suck It. We got 2 words for you. Guns up, suck it. So yeah. Nippy gets backstage outside of Mercedes Monet's locker room, and all of a sudden a hand comes in with a puppet on it. That's a Mercedes Monet puppet. And I go, oh, this is what I think it is? Puppet starts talking, and it's revealed it's Harley Cameron. And Harley Cameron is going to have a concert this Saturday on Collision. Cameron then slides into camera and says, what a great idea. And I know that Monet was no dummy. Monet herself then comes out of the locker room all pissed off, and Harley keeps talking with the puppet and whatnot, and eventually Mercedes gets pissed off and pulls the puppet off and says, are you dumb or are you stupid? No, are you stupid or are you dumb? And she's like, yeah, congratulations on your first win. Well, remember, I got my first win when I was 23. And I won title after title, and this title, and this title, and this title. And oh, yeah, and this title means that I'm the greatest TBS champion of all time. And you're, nothing but a loser, and rips the puppet off of her hand. And when she does, she turns around to go back into her locker room, and Harley's flipping her off. And Renee sees it and like pulls the hand down. Don't do that. Don't do that to her. And she's like, but I gotta flip her. And Renee just keeps holding her hand down like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, oh, I like Harley Cameron. I think she is good for what her character is supposed to be, but not in this kind of a situation. Not with Mercedes, and not going for a title. Especially not with Mercedes, who was not good at the comedy stuff, who was not good at coming back with this comedy stuff. She is too straight and narrow-ish as far as like, I know what my character is. I'm supposed to be serious. I'm supposed to be a badass boss bitch. And really, what she is just a bitch. So, yeah. Basically, they haven't said it, but we're getting Harley Cameron challenging for the TBS title. When it gets backstage with Hangman, asked why he was looking for Swerve last week, and Paige said that it was a moment of weakness. He's not going to address it, nor should he. He asked about it. Paquette asked about the potential regret on his face when he learned that Christopher Daniels' career was over after what he did to him. Paige denied it and said, that's what happens when you take on Hangman in a death match. Max Caster is then shown sitting there, and I'm like, what the hell's this loser doing? And that's the thing. I said that. What's this loser doing? There's so many guys in this company where I just see them as losers. Just whatever guys that they're trying to push. And it's not working. Especially this Max Caster bloke. The Page is like, you got a problem? What are you doing here? Caster told him, "Hey, I got respect for you, but I'm too busy. I got an open challenge to fight." But it'd be a shame if I put someone like Anthony Bowen, or no, Swerve, or no, Hangman then said, "It'd be a shame if I put someone like Anthony Bowens in the hospital or end Billy Gunn's career like I did to Christopher Daniels." And yeah, this is all kinds of weird. And he's talking about if I hurt other people and this and that, and the Cash was like, "I don't care about any of them. I got an open challenge." What is this open challenge? Open challenge for what? Anyone to fight you, or you to fight anybody you want? I don't even know what this open challenge is, because he's got this piece of paper in a frame that looks like it's some sort of like a trademark thing. Like, I don't even know what the fuck is going on here. So then we got Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher against Hounds of Hell, Brody King and Buddy Matthews. And so they did that video a couple of weeks ago where they're touting, "Whoa, we're our own people now. We're not following under that one guy anymore." They wouldn't even say his name. "And it's us going out there fighting like hell." And they've done jack shit since that started. Like, they won a match against the Gates of Agony on Collision, and then they lost tonight already. Like, they're already losing. So it's like, you ain't that cool vignette. You have them over here saying we're new people, this, that, and so forth, and then you just beat them. You just beat them here on Dynamite. Because it's like, nobody watched that Collision that they won on. The Collision had like 250,000 viewers because it went up against Saturday Night's main event. So Fletcher and Matthews started things off, which gives commentary a chance to put over both Australians. So actually, now that I think about it, there is an Australian not getting a title match. This guy, Fletcher. But honestly, him fighting Omega and Osprey in a tag match is bigger than a title match, in my opinion, unless it's the world title. So, puts over both Australians for having matches next week at Grand Slam. Both trade groundwork and a series of pin attempts before Fletcher narrowly dodged a PK. Takeshita tagged in. There's a series of go-behinds that led to a blind tag from King, who came in and fired off some big chops on Takeshita and Fletcher. The fight spills to the outside as Don Callis' family are seated against the barricade, and King hit a running crossbody. The crowd then chanted one more time, so King obliged, stacked them both, did it again as we go to a commercial break. Come back from the break, and Takeshita and Fletcher had gained the momentum. They didn't tell us how, but they did. They isolated King. They had King isolated on their side of the ring and fired off some heavy shots. Takeshita at one point hit him with a stalling German suplex, but King no-sold and tried a gonzo bomb. But Takeshita slid out. Both collided with the double lariat, and we had a little double down spot. At one point, Matthews hit a big-time somersault plancha before connecting with a Meteora off the top to the outside, or off the top inside for a 2. Crowd was hyped for this. Matthews missed a curb stomp. Fletcher hit a half and half, but ran into a corner knee. Matthews went to the top, but the sound of a coin drop played, and out came Okada. The distraction nearly led to Fletcher attempting a brainbuster, but Matthews slipped through with a Nando's kick. King then made the tag, and they hit the double cannonball drop kick combo, only for Takeshita to fly in and break things up at the senton. Takeshita then was taken to the apron as King locked in a sleeper, but Takeshita raked the eyes, allowing Fletcher to hit the draping DDT for a 2. Matthews was sent flying into the barricade as Fletcher wanted the brainbuster on King, but Takeshita saved his partner and hit a series of strikes until an assisted brainbuster connected, and Fletcher pinned King, with Takeshita holding on to Matthews and holding him off so he couldn't break up the pin. So there we go. Don Callis' family picks up the win. Then we're backstage, and Joe's talking with Hook. Joe and Hook are power walking backstage, I guess you would say. Joe's hell-bent on revenge after being laid out on Collision. Hook then had to give Joe some advice, and I'm like, what? Sure. Basically, he's like, we can't just rush right into the locker room because, you know, they always got to have the numbers advantage. And they're going to leave when Joe said they'll send a message, and laid out both Sabian and Wayne because they're like, where's Christian? And they're like, I don't know. And Christian wasn't in the locker room. So this is funny. So That's where Christian is when they walk into the locker room. And like, he's not here. So they beat the shit out of Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. Well, then the camera pans over to the left and the door opens up. No one notices this in the room. And it's Mother Wayne and Christian. And Christian goes, oh, what's going on? And looks and then just bolts. Like, I want nothing to do with Joe. Nothing to do with Hook. So he dips out. They beat the shit out of these guys. They go to leave. They walk away. Christian and Mother Wayne then scamper back into the locker room. Cameraman tries to get in there and see what's going on. And he's shoved out of the room. I guess it was a little funny. I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, a funny segment, but it was funny in the end. So we got this MJF segment. Man, was this not good. Another one of these long ass, I'm going to do something with a legend MJF segments that felt like it went on fucking forever. Forever. MJF comes down to the ring and immediately started in on geriatric Jeff Jarrett, who couldn't stay out of the way of a handsome star like MJF, which is why he had to teach him a lesson. The E in AEW stands for elite, not elderly. And then MJF popped himself with that one. Now that the Carney schmuck is out of his way, he's closer to gaining back his Triple B, because ain't no one on the level of, and then Max Caster comes out. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Comes down to the ring. MJF berates him. Caster tried saying that he was trying to escape Hangman, whose music then hit. Caster then rushed out of the ring and the arena. Page went to the ring, briefly stared down MJF, and then, well, just left. This is some stupid ass shit. They're trying to get to an MJF Hangman program, but they got each guy doing other random ass shit that makes no sense for it. You got Hangman over here looking for Swerve one week, and now he's wanting to get at Caster this week. You got MJF worried about Jeff Jarrett, now Dustin Rhodes. Like, what the hell is going on here? You trying to stretch this to a revolution or something? Like, come on. MJF said that he was interrupted by a talentless hack, and ain't no one on the level of, and he's interrupted again, this time by Dustin Rhodes. MJF demanded his music be cut off. Rhodes demands MJF shut his trap, as all he does is badmouth everyone in the back, denigrate them. Even those who are no longer with us, like Owen Hart. Rhodes suggests MJF keep Owen's name out of his mouth before he kicks his teeth in. Stop talking about people's wives or sobriety issues, which is what Rhodes has done for the last 16 years. Rhodes crawled out of hell and kicked the devil's teeth in. There's a reason he's still here at 55 years old, hanging with everyone in the roster. It's because he's a survivor. He's the last of his kind. I'm like, no, you're not. Jeff Jarrett's still here. He was around when you were, you're a thing back then. He said he survived everything MJF could imagine. He's been through it. Actually, he said, I've been through it, boy. Rhodes wants MJF to know when he's gone, the mold will be broken forever. He is better than MJF, and his punk bitch ass knows it. MJF called timeout and applauded Rhodes for the promo, but said being a worthless drug addict must have turned his brain into Swiss cheese to make him believe that he's better than MJF. He said it took Rhodes 37 years to get out of his father's shadow, but now he lives in the shadow of his little baby brother. Rhodes decks MJF as security rushes the ring to separate the two. As Rhodes broke through, got in a few more shots, and MJF retreated. MJF said that he's leaving when he broke through security, hit the ring, and got a low blow in for good measure. So yeah, go. Christopher Daniels then went to tell MJF to get to the back. And I'm like, wait, I thought this guy has no more authority. I thought he's not an EVP anymore because freaking Kenny's back. Like, what are you doing, Daniels? I thought you literally told us, this guy's back, so I can't tell people what to do anymore. Am I wrong? Tell me when I'm telling lies, as CM Punk would say. So, like I said, Christopher Daniels went to tell MJF to get to the back when MJF was about to throw a punch when he realized it was Daniels and chuckled, calling Daniels an old man before leaving. The whole Rhodes/MJF segment was dumb. Didn't need it. And yeah. You get follow up later where it's going to be MJF versus Rhodes. Also, Dustin said something about next Tuesday? Is the show on Tuesday next week? That's the only thing I heard of them say something about a Tuesday show. Looking this up. February 11th. Yeah, it's a Tuesday show. So is it airing on Tuesday as well? Because they're filming on Tuesday from Austin, Texas in the HEB Center. Okay. No. What? Huh? It says AEW. Oh my God, this fucking company. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Hold the phone. Hold on. I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Give me 1 second. They literally got 2 dates on this one graphic. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Hold on. Is the show airing on Tuesday or Wednesday? Because it's like Dustin on the show was like, next Tuesday I want to fight you. But then if the show's airing on Wednesday, aren't you supposed to suspend the disbelief, film it on Tuesday and still say it's Wednesday? Just like they do when they film a collision on Thursday and say welcome Saturday? Like, come on. Because look at this. Look at this. I'm going to pull this up right here. We got it now. It literally says... we got the graphic here. AEW Dynamite, Wednesday, February 12th, 8/7 Central. But then out here it says Tuesday, February 11th, HEB Center, Austin, Texas, AEW Texas. Yeah, so the show is taking place, I would assume, the show is taking place on Wednesday, but airing on no, the show's taking place on Tuesday, but airing on Wednesday. Okay. Gotcha. What I'm deducting from all of this. But it's like, don't put both dates. Just put the one for the show that most people are going to know and want and see. Come on. What are we doing here? So, I assume it's still Wednesday Dynamite. Call me dumb if you want for not knowing or not realizing or whatever, but yeah. So, we move forward. Mariah May comes out on commentary for the next upcoming match, Timeless Toni Storm versus Queen Aminata. So, Justin Roberts makes the announcement, playing the role of Mariah May is Timeless Toni Storm. Mariah May is all like, what? She's what? Huh? Like the what? And so May's entrance video and theme play again after it just did. Even the name and graphics are shown. Toni Storm comes out wearing Mariah May's gear. She does all the same mannerisms, biting the fingernail. She's got long extensions. But the funniest part of it is the extensions are a different color blonde than her hair because they're Mariah's extensions and her hair is a different shade of blonde. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. Toni Storm killed it though. And then she killed Queen Aminata. Like, you were supposed to care about Queen Aminata. No offense, Queen Aminata. What are you a queen of? You're a queen of nothing. I hate these wrestlers where they call themselves king this or queen that. It's like, you're not a king or queen of anything. You're the one the king of the ring, queen of the ring. You don't know nothing. At least Woods and Zelina could say they're king and queen because they won't king, queen, ring. Anyways. So May herself was unamused by all this, mockingly saying, I guess I'm flattered or should be flattered. demanding to know how Storm got that outfit. She looks like she had to get it taken out a little bit. After Excalibur reminded May that she did the same thing to Storm just a year ago. Serena Deeb was in the show watching backstage, and I'm like, the fuck has Serena Deeb got to do with any of this? Last time we saw Serena Deeb, she was trying to get a match with goddamn Britt Baker. At least last time I saw Serena Deeb, unless she's been on like a collision. Last time I saw Serena Deeb, she was trying to get a match with Britt Baker, then had a match with someone else, and then it just disappeared. Okay. Because now we're going to throw Serena Deeb into all this? Like, when was Serena Deeb's last match? Got cage match still pulled up. Serena Deeb. Serena Deeb's last match was... Okay, so she was in... she was in that four-way that Yuka Sakazaki won. Not last Saturday, but the Saturday before on Collision. Yeah, I only watched the Tony Storm segment on that show. Other than that, she hadn't worked since 2024. That was the only match she's had this year so far. Yeah, she did the thing with Britt Baker in October. And then, yeah, she had a match with Britt Baker in October. Then had a match against Willow that she lost in November. So she's like a whole month, no match. And then, yeah, then she went and did a Rev Pro match in December as well. So don't put her in the title picture, please. Anyway, as far as this match does go, Aminata tripped Storm up in the ropes, but missed a charging boot, allowing Storm to hit a hip attack, launching Aminata to the outside. Storm took too long, mocking May's mannerisms, allowing Aminata to hit a low tope, and then she posed and took control. Storm mounted a comeback as May grabbed her chest as Tony Schiavone was like Mariah May's talking about Tony's big butt, and then she's like grabs her boobs like this, and you see Schiavone just go, oh. I'm like, come on, horn dog, Schiavone. It would be funny if it was Nigel, because Nigel's always like, Mariah May, the most exquisite, most beautiful woman in the world, the glamour. Anyway, Tony Storm hit a head scissors out of the corner as she went for the Mayday, but Aminata swept the legs with a jackknife pin for a near fall. Both ladies then get to their feet and trapped super stiff strikes until Aminata hit a snap German and a sliding shin to the face as Storm's hair extensions started to fall out. So Aminata literally grabbed him and stuck him in the back of her pants, right in her underwear. What the fuck are you doing? You need a tail? You need a goddamn tail? Aminata wanted an air raid crash, but Storm escaped with a snap DDT. Charging knee and a sweet chic music led to a Mayday and a victory for Tony Storm, Mariah May, Tony May, Mariah Storm. I don't know. Tony Storm as Mariah May. May was pissed off about this on commentary as Renee Paquette came into the ring to congratulate Tony Storm on her win. Storm said, call me by my name. I'm the glamour. Mariah May, the woman from hell. And that's not a woman alive that can touch me. And Mariah May gets all pissed off. He gets off commentary, throws her belt down, and jumps up on the apron. And Tony's like, come hug me. And she just stands there like this. And the crowd's chanting to hug it out, hug it out, hug it out. And Tony says it again, hug me, Mariah. And finally she gets all pissed off again, and she jumps off the apron, goes, grabs her belt, and storms off. She's like, I ain't doing any of this. This is when we get Dustin Rhodes in the back. Dustin said, 37 years, people tried to put him in the ground. He's the last of his kind. Around for a reason. Next Tuesday night in my backyard of Austin, Texas, I'm going to beat MJF's ass. And that's when we learned that Dynamite is on Tuesday, but not airing till Wednesday, so it's taped on Tuesday. So, yeah. We then get a video telling us stuff that went down with Big Bill and Powerhouse Hobbs at Daly's place. Kind of like the same video we already saw, but then they added more from last week's Collision, where we saw Bandito return, help out the Outrunners from the Learning Tree attack, and this led to a New York Minute that was kind of dumb. Jericho doing his shtick, and he's like, we're in Georgia, the big ATL. Got Brian Keith and Big Redwood here. Jericho said that he doesn't know how Bandito is, quote, the most wanted man, and no one wants him. Jericho holds up a piece of paper and says, there's $100,000 bounty on Bandito's head, and I'm standing right next to a bounty hunter right here. So I'll double it, $200,000 if Brian Keith cash it in and do to Bandito what Big Bill did to Powerhouse Hobbs. Bill went to speak and says, "Hey Hobbs," and then we hear Powerhouse Hobbs. And Powerhouse Hobbs comes out, and then he looks at all of them and goes, "Let's go," and he starts to fight them. And Taz is like, "Oh, I don't know. No, I think it was Excalibur. So I don't know if this is smart. It's 3-on-1." And Taz goes, "But it's Hobbs. Hobbs against all of them." And then out comes the Outrunners to make it an even thing. And then Big Bill and Hobbs have fun where, like, one guy would chokeslam security, so the other guy would chokeslam security. One guy would throw security, the other guy would throw security. And yeah, they brawled entirely in the ring. And then it spilled to the outside. Hobbs tackled Bill over the commentary table. Even the cameraman took a bump. And the fight continued as things went to a commercial break. There's chaos backstage as security is escorting the learning tree from the building, with Hobbs and the Outrunners being held back in the process. This then leads us to our main event, Ricochet versus Swerve Strickland. So, as far as the match does go, I thought it was okay. Ricochet did get the win. And I'm like, I feel like there's going to be more here, because then, he stole Nana's robe, and there's things here where I'm like, oh, this ain't it. They're going to do more, whether that's at Grand Slam or Revolution in March. They're going to do more here. So, Strickland wearing an embassy robe when he wore for a lot of his big matches. But before the match could start, he's waffled with a chair from behind by Ricochet during his entrance. So Ricochet's beating him down. More chair shots. Remember, the match hasn't started yet, so it's not like he's going to get DQ'd or anything. And so finally the bell sounds, and Ricochet charges with a big pump knee and hits the Vertigo. 1-2, almost a pin. Ricochet stays in control as Strickland tried to leapfrog, but was dropkicked out of midair to the outside. Ricochet followed this up with a low tope. They fight on the barricade, where Ricochet wanted to snap Hurricane Rana, but Strickland held on and powerbombed him violently onto the barricade. We go to commercial break where Strickland stays in control. When we return, Ricochet kicked out Strickland's legs in the corner and hit a lung blower for a near fall. Both men then slugged it out as Ricochet fired off a combo until Strickland cut him off. Wall walk from Ricochet, who hit a pump knee and stood tall. Both men then traded power bombs until Strickland was able to hit his floating power bomb into the power slam for a 2. Ricochet then grabbed the official, tried to go for a mule kick, but Strickland blocked it and hit a release German suplex into a rolling flatliner and a house call for a great combo. Strickland then went for the swerve stomp, but Ricochet escaped at 2, kicking out. They get up on the apron as Ricochet floated over a DVD, whipped Strickland's neck back on the ropes, missed a hop over Hurricane Rana, so settled for a release German suplex on the apron. Quickly recovered, Ricochet threw Strickland onto a threw Strickland down. Excuse me. Threw him down for a springboard 450 near fall. Ricochet up top for a shooting star press to the back, but Strickland kicked out again. Ricochet went for a spirit gun, but Strickland hit a house call in midair and tried another swerve stomp. But Ricochet got his fists up for a blatant low blow, which the ref just allowed, didn't do nothing about. Ricochet connected with the spirit gun and pinned him to pick up the victory. So Ricochet, like I said, did get the win. Afterwards, Prince Nana tried to come into the ring to tend to Strickland. He had the embassy robe, but Ricochet pie-faced him and took the robe, putting it on, and celebrated as he went up the ramp as the show was to close. There we go. That is how the show ended. Just an all right show, I'm going to say so. Just an all right show. But let's get the poll going here on Twitch. What did you think of Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. As far as the other polls do goes, we check these. As far as the Twitter X poll does go, 42% like the show. Dang, that's low. 32% thought it was just all right, and 25% didn't like it. As far as the threads poll does go, 60% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right, and 20% didn't like it. Looking at the YouTube community poll, 61% liked the show, 19% thought it was just all right, and 19% didn't like it. As far as the live poll does go, 69% liked the show, 69% liked the show, 18% didn't, and 13% thought it was just all right. And finally, everybody that voted on Twitch thought it was just all right. Excuse me. But with that, guys, that's going to do it for us here. I want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, we'll be back on Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. So have a great night. Have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.